Hello guys, hope you're doing great. Welcome to my channel, The Consistent Coder. So the problem we are going to solve today is product of array except self. So we were given an integer array nums. We have to return an array answer such that answer at I is equal to the product of all elements of nums except nums at I. So basically we were given an array of nums. So if you could see in the example one, there are numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so 1 which is at the index 0. So for the answer at index 0 we should have all the product of the numbers that are not equal to the index 0. So basically for index 0 we'll have 2 into 3 into 4, which is 24, which is exactly what we see here. And then for the number that is at index 1, we will consider 1, 3 and 4, correct? So which will be 12. And then if we are at the number 3, which is index 2, we'll have the product 1 into 2 into 4, which is 8. And then similarly for the last number, we'll have 1 into 2 into 3. So basically we are producting all the numbers that are not equal to the current number, correct? Right. So how can we do this? So he clearly mentions in the question that we must write an algorithm in O of n linear time and without using the division operation. Yeah, the first thing that we might think is that we could actually product all the numbers. Like for example, here we could do 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, which will be 24. And then since we don't want the product of the number that we are currently at, we could simply do 24 by 1, which is 24, and then 24 by 2, which is 12, and then so on. So he says that is something that is not allowed, right? So how can we do this problem then? So here we are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correct? And then if suppose, forget about everything, I ask you just for the index 2, right? Just for the index 2, how can we do this? So it is 1, 2 into 4 into 5 for 3, right? Because that is what the product of numbers except self. So basically all I'm saying is give me the product of these numbers and the product of these numbers. Okay, interesting. So what I'm basically asking is give me the product of the numbers to the left side and the product of the numbers to the right side. Similarly, if I'm asking the product of the numbers except self for this particular index, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, that is at the index 3. So what do I need to do? I need to know the product of these numbers and the product of this number. Similarly, if I'm asking about the last number, I need the product of all these numbers, and since there is nothing to the right side, we can assume that's 1, and this is it. So all we need to do is figure out, if suppose I ask you for a particular index, maybe whatever it is, we need to figure out what is the product of the numbers until the last number to the left of it and product of all the numbers to the right side of it. So if I knew what is the product of the numbers, for example 3, if I know what is the product of all the numbers to the left and what is the product of all the numbers to the right, all I have to do is simply multiply these, correct? And then I'll get my answer. That's it. So we can do this by maintaining two arrays, right? So how can we do this? Let's say we'll maintain a left product array where we will calculate the product of all the elements until that element, right? So what I'm saying is, so for example, what is the product of all elements from the left until this point? It's 1. And what is the product of all elements until this element? It's 2. And then for this guy it will be, so we'll maintain two arrays, right? So the first array will be the left product array where we will calculate the product of all the elements till the current element. What I'm saying is, if suppose I'm talking about the left product array, right? Left product array. So left product array will represent the product of all elements until the current element. So for this particular index it will be 1, right? And in this it will be product of all the elements before until this index into the current index, right? Which will be 2. And then for this guy it will be 6, and then this it will be 24, and then for this guy it will be 24 into 5, which will be 120, correct? And then I'll maintain a right product array. So what will this right product array represents? So it will represent the product of all elements to the right side of it. I mean, what I'm saying is, so we'll start from the back side for this array. So here it will be 5. So, and then here it will be 20. So what I'm saying is, if suppose I ask what is the right product array at the index 3, so it represents 20. The 20 represents the product of all the elements, including this element, to the right side of it. Make sense? And now we'll have 20 into 3, 60, and then we have 60 into 2, which is 120, and then again 120 into 1, 120. Right. Now, how can we use these two arrays to calculate our particular answer in the previous example? So for example, we were considering the index 3, right? So what do we want in order to find the product of all the elements except this particular element? We need to know what is the left product array, the product of all the elements before this and product of all the elements to the right of this. So I can simply multiply those. So if I consider the index 3, the left product will give me 2, correct? Because the previous index is containing 2. This 2 represents all the product of all elements before the index that we are currently at, which is for 3. And then the right product will give me the product of all elements after the index 2, correct? Which will be 20. So because we wanted to multiply this, right? Because all we need to do is product of all the elements to the right side and product of all the elements will the left side, and then if we just multiply them, we will get the product that we needed, right? So in this case, it will be 2 into 20, which is 40, which is exactly what we need. Make sense? I hope this is clear. Now let's move on to the coding part. So initially we start out with left product, right? Let's say that is to be 1, and then we have the right product that is equal to 1, and then left we are maintaining an array, right? So that is something called left product array. So what does this array represent? This array will represent the product of all the elements to the left side of it, including the current index. So let's initialize to be an empty one, and then we have right product array, which will represent the product of all the elements to the right side of it, including the current element, right? And now let's fill it up. And now for let I equal to 0, so this is just looping through the nums array that we were given. And then, so initially what we need to do, so for the first index, do we have what do we need to do? We just need to multiply our left product, whatever we have, and then we will multiply it with the current element, right? And that's it. And then all we need to do is we just use our product array and then we push it there. That's it. Is this making sense? Because what we are going with the assumption is that the current index, will have in this particular left product array will have the product of all the elements, including the current element, right? So which is why we are multiplying it with the existing product that we have, and then we are pushing it into our array. So that's it. So at the end we will have our left product, and similarly we will come from the back side. This is for the right product array. So what do we need to do? Similarly, right product array will be equal to the current element that we are multiplying, and then we will push it into our right product. But remember one thing, do we have to push it here? I mean, look at this example. So when we are building it, here left product array we have 1 and then we have 2, so we pushed it, so we are coming this way. But for right product array we are coming from the back side. So what does it mean? We don't need to push it here, we actually need to unshift here. So the order is different for left product and right product array, right? So what do we need to do is we need to do unshift instead of pushing it. So that way we will first have 5, and then if we push 20, so that means 20 will come after 5, which is something that we don't want. We want 20 to be coming first and then 5. So that means whatever the product that we are calculating, it should be the first one. So we will unshift it. And now let's have an answer array, right? So this is the answer array that we are going to return. So we finally have the answer array. So now what do we need to do? We just need to loop through it, right? We just what do? We just loop through the num's length, and then answer dot push. So what do we need to do is we need to calculate the product, right? Now imagine that we are calculating the product for index 3, right? So if we are at the index 3, we just need to multiply left product at I minus 1, right? So this is what we need. So this is what we need for the left product. From the left product, this is what we need, the 2. And then from the right product, we need this. So basically left product at I minus 1 and right product at I plus 1. Got it? Yep. So from the left product array, we need the element that is before to the current element, and from the right product array, we will need the product of all the elements that are to the right side of it, right? So here, but we need to make sure that this is working fine, because for the first element, if we look at the first element, right, the left product will if I do left product at I minus 1, there is no element, so I need to handle that case. And similarly, when I'm at the last element, sure, there is a left product at I minus 1, which is 24, but there is nothing to the right side. So if I do right product at I plus 1, this will give me an bound error, right? So what do I need to do? I just need to handle those cases. So if my I is equal to 0, then I simply do answer dot push. What do I push? I push 1. Do I push 1? 1 into right product at I plus 1, because this will be there. Else if my I is nums dot length I minus 1, that means if I'm at the last index, so then in that case, what do I need to do? I just need to do left product at I minus 1 will be there, correct? But right product at I plus 1 will give me undefined, but I can simply take that to be 1. So in all other cases, this is valid, right? In all other cases, what I'll do, I'll simply do the product of all the elements that I have to the left side of my current index and to the right side of my current index, and then simply I'll return my answer at the end. As you can see, the solution is working fine. If you like the video, please give me a like, and then I'll be uploading videos related to Blind 75. So if you wanted to receive updates whenever I upload a video, please do consider subscribing, and thank you. Stay consistent.